Hi Roxanne, hi Christopher. Thank you all for always coming and hang with me. I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I'll honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. And I'll strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. Hi, Yvette. You always make it so worthwhile, huh? So, we have a program, we have some good news, and what do we have? I'm seeing here that this story really piqued my interest. It's about a young Tobagonian girl, and this is what this is about. I saw it on Liz Williams' page. And it is a 12-year-old from Tobago on a mission for citizens to embrace their natural hair. Her name is Jade Mejias. I think that is what it is, from Bonaccord, Hong Kong. So let's hear what she has to say.
I was 7 years old. I used to watch YouTube when I came home from school, and I saw a lot of straight hair and blonde hair, and I was like, oh my god, that's so pretty, I want that. So I looked at my hair and their hair, and I hated how it was so different to them, and I thought they almost did.
12-year-old Jade Mejias during an interview with TV6 News. Jade said her mom, Siobhan Mejias, took action when she realized she was depressed over her natural hair.
My mom decided to cut her hair shorter than mine to make me see that my hair wasn't that short. And it helped boost my confidence a lot, but it didn't help all the way.
Jade's book, My Superhero, Why I Love My Afro Hair, is aimed to suit all ages.
It doesn't matter where you are. You can take care of your hair any age, and sometimes even growing up that way, and you hate it even when you're older and you just don't like it. And I think it's important for young readers because it starts from really little, like even 6 years old.
Jade told TV6 News her 48-page book is well researched. She hopes this book inspires children and adults around the world. Her wish is also for similar books to be found on local bookshelves.
I hope it could go worldwide because there's a lot of children all over the world with the same problem and issues very common, and I hope that I can inspire people everywhere.
And this 12-year-old does not plan to stop there. She is working on 2 more books treating with environmental issues. Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
All right, so that's 12-year-old Jade, who was having challenges with her hair. You see how you can be influenced by things that you see on TV and the internet. She was seeing people with blonde hair, long straight hair, and she started to have challenge with her curly hair. And her mom would have decided she would cut her hair to show that Jade hair is longer than hers, but still there were some issues remaining, and Jade was able to work it out with her book. So she's loving the natural hair. And I think this would have taken prominence after the guys from, I can't remember which one of those boys' college, they were at their graduation and they were put outside the graduation, outside the church, because they wore their hair in cane rose plaits And that sparked a debate. Coming out of that, there was some type of policy sent to the schools so that they would modify to suit them. And it is okay now for persons of African descent to wear their hair, the normal way that we wear our hair. So cornrows, plaits, bantu, bantu curls, braids. Um, you can do the weave if you want, but everything is in moderation. But the most important thing is the whole natural look. So the afros, the bantu curls, the cane rows, the plaits. And as I told you all, cane rows have a serious significance for our ancestors because that was a road map. They used to use that as a map. They would plait the girls here or the woman here in a particular way that will show the path for them to escape. And they used to also stick seeds in it so that when they're on their journey, they could take out and have something to eat too. So the cane rose is not just a style, it is a lifestyle, and it was one that was used as a form of resistance during enslavement. We never give up fighting. I'm seeing that WASA has a new CEO, and that is good news. So let's see what is going to come out from there. The Public Services Association was unable to stop WASA from restructuring. They took it, I think, straight to the Privy Council, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the lawyers were UNC lawyers, and they would have lost that. You can't stop an employer from modernizing or restructuring the business once they're able to show it is in the effort of um, profit upgrading and that, you can't do much. All you have to make sure that you have is a retrenchment. You follow the retrenchment package, the retrenchment rules and regulation in how you do retrenchment and do payouts and that kind of thing. And then you're good to go. So WASA, this was in CNC 3 News, December the 2nd. WASA CEO Keith Roy Halliday assumes his new role. Just from that name, you know from Trinidad, eh? Keith Roy. So you see him here, Keith Roy pose up with WASA workers. So they don't giving him, they're already giving that support that way. So it says here, newly installed WASA CEO Keith Roy Halliday has officially assumed his duties. In a statement today, WASA said he did so on Sunday, taking the initiative to do a comprehensive tour of the WASA head office and engage with staff at the utility call center. During his visit, Halliday emphasized the importance of open communication and his commitment to an inclusive approach to transforming the WASA. I believe that the success of our utilities lies in the dedication and expertise of our team, Halliday says. It's not holidays, Halliday. By starting my journey here on a Sunday, I wanted to demonstrate my commitment to understanding our operations and connecting with our staff from day one. Their hard work and passion are the backbone of our service to the country. Together, we can foster an environment where everyone feels valued, motivated, and empowered to continue to our mission of providing safe and reliable water and waterway services to Trinidad and Tobago, he said. WASA said Halliday has exhibited a clear focus on employee welfare as a critical factor in service delivery. After an impromptu visit to the Q Place location previously, where he saw and heard firsthand the conditions and concerns of the team members there, he returned last evening to ensure and was pleasantly surprised at the quick turnaround of the physical conditions at the location. WASA said the board of directors is confident that Halliday's leadership will guide the authority towards a future of growth and excellence. As the authority embarks on this new chapter, the organization remains committed to its mission of delivering safe, reliable, and sustainable water and waterway services to all stakeholders, WASA said. Well, they already started with Minister Marvin Gonzalez, who is the waterman now. Once they say you want water, they're going to get the water. So with a minister like Minister Gonzalez, Public Utilities, and with the WASA workforce and the new CEO, I am excited to see what else that the CEO can bring to the table that the minister did not bring. And I guess it will be his interaction with staff, because the minister does not have that authority to interact with staff. He will be able to give what is needed for the management to have to do the job, but to interface with staff and that kind of thing, that would not be in his purview. So the CEO will bring that together. So let's see better and better things for WASA. Hi Nicole, hi John C. First time I'm seeing John C. Hi Legacy Guy. I think first time I'm seeing it too. Hi Petal, hi Sarah, hi Constance. My comrade and classmate from Cipriani Labor College and comrade in the struggle of PSA. Nicholas Paul again is riding up a storm. So I see that he got, let me see what he got wrong. So give me a minute. Today, no sticking on. We have so much thing. Hi Norris, hi Sharon. So I'm saying, oh, he cutie. He's a cutie. First time I really see with all the hat, the kind of helmet thing on. A real cutie. So this was in the Guardian, well, 2 days ago. Let's see what. Silver, bronze for Paul at Champions League. So cyclist Nicholas Paul was on the podium against the UCI Champions League in Apeldoorn, Netherlands on Friday. Paul paired with hometown favourite Harit Lavresian for the finals on the match sprint, but settled for the second position and the silver medal with a time of 11.244. Lavresian, an Olympic gold medalist, proved to be too fast for the TNT rider, beating him in a dash to the finish line in a time of 10.651 seconds. Earlier, Paul got the better of Matthew Richardson of Great Britain in the semi-finals of the sprint, posting a time of 10.448 for his berth in the final. Lavresian, in his journey to the title race, disposed of his countryman Jeffrey Hoglan with a time of 10.143 and was significantly faster than his compatriot 10.211. Okay, so I want to read about all them I read about our boy Nicholas Paul who got silver and bronze. Good luck, sir. Okay, he's a cute, yeah? Normally I see what the kind of thing on his head now, the cycling helmet and whatever. Always doing us proud where cycling is concerned. And all our athletes continue to shine. I'm also seeing, panels in the air, steel panels in the air, and since steel panels become a national instrument now, what you know, if it wasn't hot before, it's hotter now, and then carnival coming up and stuff. So I'm seeing here in CNC3 news again, December the 1st, second district music concert in Faizabad Sec on Monday. I'm not sure if I read this already, the first was no. The National Primary School children will be showing off their musical talent when a series of district music concerts continues on Monday, the 2nd of December 2024 in Faizabad. So that's today. The second district music concert takes place tomorrow at Faizabad Secondary School from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it's already finished. Accordingly, so it happened then. According to release from the Ministry of Education and Entertainment, the event will be provided by students from 15 schools within St. Patrick Education District, along with music instructors from the Ministry Primary School Music Program. So this happened today, and this is another component of the school syllabus ending, I think now, and the Minister, Dr. Nayan Gaspi, in a quest to make learning more inclusive, to make learning more fun, to make learning where the arts are part of the education system also, which is really a positive thing. So it happened today, and I hope they had a good time. I guess we'll read about it tomorrow. So let me move on. Well, everybody's so in love with the fact that in Guyana, the president is giving money to the Guyanese people. And some Trinidadians, of course, they will look at that and go, why we can't do that in Trinidad and all that? And I think they're missing the point that those payments in Guyana are one-off payments. While the payments that we have in Trinidad, our old age pension at 65 is every month, NIS payment every month, social welfare grants every month, disability grants every month, pension every month. And the list goes on and on. These are monthly payments, while in Guyana, they give them the money for one time only. You can't compare the two. However, I'm seeing there's some drama with this new 100,000, not USA, 100,000 Guyanese dollars that the government of Guyana is given to Guyanese people. And apparently it is causing some stress. And what's going on with this money? So I'm reading this from Culture News, and it says here, this was December the 2nd, so that's today. What's going on with this 100,000 cash grant? And it's Heart Root by G.H.K. Lal. Culture News takes, Culture News, right? Take public servants and pensioners, by my count 100,000 cash grant eligible Guyanese, give or take. Since they are already on the system, a captive subset of the qualifying population, why do they all still have to register? About 76,000 pensioners are readying for the ordeal of collecting their 2025 pension books. Now they must submit to another grueling process that drains stamina and soul. Consider the wait and woes at registration sites. Perhaps the government will have an army of registration agents and many, many of such sites. There is the element of time, and note is made of the week allocated. It is helpful, but I ask myself if that is enough, considering the number of cash grant eligible citizens. Will the PPP government, as a special courtesy to senior citizens, segregate them from the crush of about 300,000 Guyanese in a mad rush to get in the line and sign on the dotted line? If they are lumped into with other qualifying Guyanese, it doesn't require much to imagine their distress. Opposition leader Mr. Aubrey Norton said that the government is in a mad scramble. The PPP government is mad. In the story, Excellency Ali, who loved the quick dash, the big splash, delivered one involving a bucket of cash. Where is it, Mr. Ali? It has not been immediately, as promised, Dr. Excellency. Dr. Ashni Singh, the man with a cash register, waxed smartly about a simple and easy registration process. How so, Dr. Singh? With about 300,000 eligible people congregating at the sites and then having to return to uplift their checks. American spelling. So he spelled it Check, but you know, check has a Q in it, so he says that's the American spelling. Perhaps Dr. Singh helicopters from home to work. I suggest that he should try to get a read on how Guyanese use their multi-billion-dollar roads. If there is that level of mayhem to get to a stoplight and through it, then only the worst is to be expected when 100 large is involved. Discipline, courtesy, and order are all under the severest stresses. With no money in the mix, throw in 100 big bills and men become mobs. One more paragraph I'm reading and then I'll just wrap it up. For some reason, the mind flashes to the Romans. What did those sharpies do when they wanted to mesmerize the jaded and angry populace? They give them a circus with free bread attached to stuff their mouths and plug their minds. And to put a crown on the festivities, the sickly Roman emperors, who made themselves into gods, give them some gladiators to kill one another, and a bundle of Christians to feed the lions or the bonfires. For the Romans, that was respite and entertainment. The PPP government equivalent is because we care, we share. Thanks for the circus, Dr. Ali. Chat to you and Dr. C. And he goes on a little more, but what I'm seeing here is 100,000 Guyanese dollars is being offered to everybody. And what Mr. Lal is suggesting, he hoped that they have a separate lines or spaces, if I'm not mistaken, for the elderly and the pensioners. And it's a mad rush, and you have the opposition, Morton, saying that government mad, again, they're mad. And basically, what Laland is saying is an election. It is a ploy. It is get them something to calm them down. But what struck me is that these economists in Trinidad, they love to speak about Guyana and all that. And Guyana is a place to be, the money, Ralph and Raj and all of them, Guyana. But a simple situation like that, they didn't know how to work it out. Excuse me. When we had people going to pay the property tax, there wasn't pushing on one another, it's just that the lines were long. And then when a member of parliament saw that, he went and he would have gotten water and stuff for them, and then immediately after, tents and stuff were put up, and then after that, it became a situation where it was online. But the way they carry on when they see the lines and like, in Guyana, they give away 100,000 K, and it's bacchanal, and more bacchanal, and the elderly getting caught up in the crush. So it's interesting to see the places that they want us to emulate. It's places who are even more problem than we, right? But I want to ask, and I'll be brave to ask it, because I want the conversation on race relations to start. Is it because Ghana is a largely Indian country or country that those here always like to promote themselves as if Guyana is better than Trinidad, and no matter what we do here is not good enough? I'm just asking a question because I'm seeing that the poverty line in Guyana is 40 something and some 40 something, 48 or something so percent. In Trinidad and Tobago is 16. So Mala Dukaran, that is the economist, Trinidad economist who live in Barbados. I've seen how, because she was just talking recently about the dollar and flow the dollar and this and that and all kind. She had never had nothing good to say about Trinidad and Tobago economy, nothing. I see like she complaining about the prices of things and goods and tomato, all kind of thing in Barbados. You live in Barbados, you know what's going on because your head stick in Trinidad business. You ain't seeing what's going on in Barbados. So Barbados, food prices high, and she complaining. But what is even worse, as an economist living in Barbados, I think you would have been aware of this. Because me living there, I'm no economist. But I read this. So I'm surprised that Mara Dugrando talk about that. But she always up in Trinidad and Tobago business. You all remember I read you all this story where pensioners in Barbados are worried because they may have to make a choice between buying medication and food. Okay, so I read this from Barbados today, and this would have been the 16th or 11th month 2024, fairly recent, so I'm surprised Mala Dukarani know that. Food crisis forces elderly to choose between health and hunger. Elderly Barbadians on fixed incomes are being forced to sacrifice their nutritional needs as soaring food prices create an unsustainable situation for the island's pensioners, the head of the country's retirement organization has warned. Barbados Association of Retired Persons, BARP, President Marilyn Rice Bowen highlighted in an interview with Barbados Today how inflation is eroding pensioners' purchasing power, with some vegetables now costing as much as $8 per pound. And yes, Dukaran was talking about how expensive the tomato is and wherever it is. So she didn't read this to know, but she had all up in Trinidad business. I read on one more line. The value of the dollar is being eroded, Rice Bowen said. When you look at it, sometimes you are paying $8 for a pound of string beans, and they can't even last the whole week. It is not sustainable. She added that the country's reliance on imported vegetables has only exacerbated the situation, driving prices up and leaving seniors with new affordable options. With few leaving citizens, leaving seniors with few affordable options. Highlighting the difficult choices many retirees must make, the BARP president explained, when persons have to make that critical decision, should I buy a 5 pound of English potatoes instead of some beans, pumpkins, or okras? Then I buy the potatoes. I'll have to go home, cook a pot of rice, and put whatever I can afford in it. It's easier said than done to stick to a healthy diet, and that is sad. Riceboy noted that for years, BARP has been advocating for ways to make nutritious food more affordable, but progress has been limited. Really, in big Barbados where everybody loves Mia? Oh my goodness, that is happening under Mia's watch. Where she has been to the IMF on 2 occasions. The first time I think she would have laid out about 3,000 public officers. That's happening under Mia. Oh my goodness. In this country, we have TARP, TARP, that's for the senior citizens. And they get discounts and stuff when they sign up. They get the cards and weekly letters and newsletters and all that. That's happening right here in this country. Really, I'm not trying to be little or make light of it. I'm just saying, when they're talking and watching people business, they need to fix their own first, right? Because Barbados have its challenges, but just the Barbados population don't get on like we. You gotta see that happening here. And they have protests all over the place. No, Barbados have a different order. So when Dukaran, Mala Dukaran come out and start to talk, tell she study that it have elderlies and seniors in Barbados can't feed themselves because the food price too high. Okay, I done with that. So Dr. Rowley would have met with a bipartisan team in, was it Barbados? Recently he was out of the country. I think he's back if I'm not mistaken. Oh gosh, just now. Let's scroll back down, scroll back down, scroll back down, scroll. Yeah. Right. So this was, hi Hazel. Hi Joyce. Hi. So this was December the 1st. CNC 3 News. The Prime Minister meets with US lawmakers in Barbados. Regional security, economic prosperity for the US and CARICOM, and climate goals were amongst the topics of discussion on Saturday when Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley joined regional leaders in Bridgetown, Barbados for a meeting with a bipartisan US congressional delegation. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister reports that at yesterday's meeting, Dr. Rowley and other CARICOM leaders held fruitful discussions with the delegation led by US Democratic leader in the House of Representatives, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. The delegation included Representative Maxine Walters, ranking member, Committee on Financial Services, Representative Gregory W. Meeks, ranking member, Foreign Affairs Committee and member Committee on Financial Services, and Republican Amatar Coleman, Radigajan, Vice Chairman, Committee on Veterans Affairs, member Natural Resources Committee, and member Foreign Affairs Committee. In 2023, Congressman Jeffries led a congressional delegation in a visit to Trinidad and Tobago, where he joined the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, at the 45th regular meeting of CARICOM, Heads of Government and Conference. TNT Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Senator Dr. Amy Brown, was also present at Saturday's meeting. So that's our Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Honorable Rowley, doing the work of the people. So let me continue. I see that you remember the brutal murder of Tara Ramsarut and her daughter, and then after we had the other mother, Laura, can't remember the surname right now, who was chopped in front of her son, was getting ready to go to Cashew, and they were chopped. Both women were chopped by their estranged spouses. I didn't hear Kamala and them talk nothing about that, but when the incident with Jadon, the school guy from St. Stephen's College everybody was up in arms, but I didn't see nobody really up in arms for this. So I think what is happening now,
As Rajaram continues to
just now.
That's normal.
So they are looking at the trends in domestic violence in Trinidad and the number of cases reported and the victims and all that. So they were speaking to the sister of murdered mother and her daughter, and this is what she had to say.
For me. It's hard.
It has not been an easy 2 months for Jasodhra Rajaram and her family, as she is constantly reminded of her sister and niece who were brutally killed within walking distance of her home. On October 9th, Rajaram's younger sister Tara Ramsarup and her daughter Jada Motilal were chopped to death at a relative's home, ultimately marking the end of years of abuse within a turbulent relationship. Today, Rajaram can only reflect on the horrific nature of the crime and the many failed attempts at securing protection for her sister.
She said I did everything. I went to court, I think I was restraining order. She said I did everything. What is it left that I didn't do? I said, I ought to know something. The day something happened to you, that when you will see all the police. And so said, so done.
Data obtained from the judiciary showed that the number of protection orders issued had significantly increased from 2022 to 2023. As of August this year, 2,270 protection orders have already been granted. But a protection order by itself is not enough to protect someone against attacks, as Rajaram continues to urge victims of abuse to separate themselves from their abuser. She says while leaving a relationship is sometimes easier said than done, it may be their only chance of survival.
If you're going back in it, then you allowing this person to treat you the way they are treating you. And when you allow that, they have the upper hand on you. And when they have the upper hand on you, you are under their feet now.
Rajaram is also calling on mothers specifically to step up and nurture proper socialization skills among their sons through communication and emotional intelligence. She warns that defending the irresponsible nature of their sons can create more problems later on. For now, Ramsarup and little Jada live on in the photos left behind and the memories they created. If time truly heals all wounds, Rajaram and the rest of their family will have much longer to wait before they can come to terms with the loss of mother and daughter. Shane Superville, CNC3 News.
All right, who is remembering these
About
victims?
me.
Who is remembering these victims? Or are we just going to move on? Why I'm saying that, I would have read on Friday the autistic, I think she's 11 years old, who burnt in a fire in the home. I think it's Malaban, taken to hospital and would have died there. At home in a house, left by herself, and one male relative and another man. And it's not that people saying they don't know if that man is related to the child. Who is going to remember her? Is there any investigations that is happening? 11-year-old autistic girl, let me get her name. You mustn't forget. You must not forget it. I haven't heard anything about any investigations. Maybe I missed it. Anna Love Tate. Yes? In Malabar, in her home. Body burned during a house fire. She was left alone in her house. She's living with a close male relative, age 50, and another man in the quiet neighborhood. Let's don't forget. And again, I continue to advocate for the teacher in Tobago with that school for the deaf. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything, so I do not know if she would have gotten what she's looking for. Again, senior teacher at the Tobago School for the Deaf, Speech and Language Impaired, Dovaren Toppin, is calling for the institution to have a new school. plenty people would not do the kind of work she's doing. And if we have somebody doing that type of work with that kind of dedication, they should get the resources they need. Children with special abilities, different abilities, they are human beings and they are people too. And once given the right and nurturing space, unless they are mentally ill or brain damaged, they can become productive citizens in the society. Please do not hide them up and ill treat them when you're frustrated because they're vulnerable. Don't do that, please. I see the principal or the ex-principal of Naparima, Naparima College. He has been chosen. He's a blue-eye boy who Kamala and they think will bring it home. I just would like to tell Dr. Dolat, I think it is. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Amory. Hi, Michael. So this was 20 hours ago in the Guardian. Dolat edges out Jayanti to contest San Fernando West East seat for UNC. Former Naparima College principal Dr. Michael Dolat was chosen by the UNC to contest the San Fernando West seat and is thanking the party political leader for seeing the value in his candidacy. I look forward to working with the constituency and with the executive in dealing with the issues and moving forward positively, Dowla told Guardian Media yesterday after his name was announced as a candidate for the general election 2025. So the San Fernando West seat is held by Faris Alwari. So she kick out Jaiwanti, all what Jaiwanti do. It looked to me like Jaiwanti was bleaching. It looks so. I see two different pictures, and I don't know if it's the camera, but like Jaiwanti bleaching. Like always, Jaiwanti do and whatever it is, she still get sharp in with us. Dr. Michael Dowlat. But I want to ask Dr. Dowlat, that is a company you're going to keep now after your term or your years of service at Naparima Boys College? Them is the people you want to put yourself in. You willing to put yourself through that? With this campaigning and all that to make whatever character you have, that could all go wrong. And somebody got to say birds are feather flock together, you know. So I am surprised. A man like Dr. Michael Dowlat, Naparima Boys College, because I never hear them in no background, so he's doing a good work. Join with the UNC. Well, let me tell Mr. Dr. Dowlat the kind of company he is keeping, and the mud will certainly get on him. Trust me. This is the company that you're keeping, Dr. Dowlat. Let me find it. Oh, yeah. Just now, huh?
I'm here, HC Fairfield. So the reason for being here is that I would have had a family. Yesterday was distress due to the rainy weather. The home fell, and this happened in Ramdani. So much so that the family cannot go back into that structure. I myself, as a member of parliament, would have visited them yesterday. Apart from the fact that it's abandoned, the building in itself is a health hazard. So myself and a couple of the constituents, knowing time right, took it upon ourselves to salvage some of the materials that we could, because as I said, it is a poor structure and it is not somehow and due to it being abandoned and what we can do is get some galvanized to help a family in need. And this is a mother and her children that had nowhere to rest their head. And would you believe officials from AGC showed up this morning trying to stop what we are doing? This is a good initiative to help a mother in need. And AGC,
What I always see there is Member of Parliament Michelle Benjamin for Dong Maruga, I think Maruga Table, if I'm not mistaken. That the same one who say in Parliament during the budget debate to take it and put it between your legs. Now she going to thief. She going by abandoned place to thief material for a mother and child who have a situation where they need somewhere to live. And in her mind, she's doing a good. And that to me is the thinking of UNC and some who support UNC. Don't mind the thief, but we eat our food. So your thieving is not the issue. It's what you do with what you thief. So Michelle Benjamin's justification is the building abandoned and we're going to take material. That is thieving because it's not yours. But that is the kind of company Dr. Dowlat is going to be keeping. Well, you're good, yes? Let me continue. Oh, your Lord. Do you remember a gentleman called Leladar Singh? Let me see if I get your whole name. Jai Leladar Singh. Oh, remember that man? Well, as we saw put it, she put a little caption for she said, in a serious country where media houses respect their public, someone who is on record for having used racist language to describe a community wouldn't be relevant. You have to ask why Jai Shima, most famous for calling black people the N-word, still gets asked his opinion on anything. So in the Guardian, he had an opinion. It's tackling the TNT Forex. And I'll just read a little part and then I'll remind all you who it is. And I was telling all you. You could thief, you could curse African people, you could say all racist thing, but don't study that. You get a blind, you get something, and everything is okay. So this is what he put. Trinidad and Tobago, one of the Caribbean most industrialized nations, has long struggled with foreign exchange shortages. As a nation heavily reliant on energy export, fluctuation in global oil and gas prices deeply impacts its foreign currency reserves, coupled with a high demand for imported goods and limited diversification of its export base. The shortage of foreign exchange has created significant challenges for businesses. Right? So they went to Masita Axie and he gave them a whole explanation. It's the same way let's go to Kevin Ramnarayan at Duns, who did nothing for the energy sector when he was Minister of Energy. He was run to he. And all the others that has run to people of questionable intentions. So this was, let me bring back to Olela Darcy because they mustn't forget. Well, they mustn't forget these things. They wanted to forget and say, don't mind that, no, that don't pass. But when you do, it don't pass, They matter tell you about it all the time and play the victim. So this is Ladar Singh. Ladar Singh as well. So I just want to bring only the juicy part in it. So this was in the Daily Express, 2015, fired for racist rant. Board member of the Shagaramas Development Authority, CDA, Jai Shima Leladhar Singh, has been fired for posting racist statements on Facebook. Leladhar Singh, who is also a senior United National Congress activist and former marketing manager at the Agricultural Development Bank, on April 12, 2014, referred to Anthony McLeod as a stinking, or you know the word, N, on Facebook. Messages sent via Facebook to McLeod yesterday for a comment were unsuccessful. Speaking briefly with Express yesterday afternoon, Minister of Planning and Sustainable Development, Dr. Bo Tiwari, under whose portfolio CDA falls, said the posting by Leladhar Singh has been under investigation and following its completion, he was asked to resign. Asked how long the issue had been investigated and why, in the interim, Leladhar Singh was still a member of the CDA board, Tiwari declined to comment and instead referred to all his comments to the news release announcing his firing. So while the investigation is going on, they still have you working. I will bring the, let me get to the meat of the thing, because I ain't reading all this just now. Right. This is how it went. One day after the post was made, Leladhar Singh posted, okay, so let me tell you where it stemmed from. It stemmed from when A.N.R. Robinson died, and right, so The genesis of Little Darcy's remarks against McLeod started following a post on April 11, 2014, written by former Prime Minister Basil Pandey. The post was in reference to comments made by Pandey in the media following the death of former Prime Minister and President Arthur A.N.R. Robinson in 2014. In that interview with the media on April 9, 2014, Pandey said, though he sympathized with relatives of Robinson on his passing, I was instrumental in him becoming both Prime Minister and President, but I think that the issue would not be as kind to him for some of the things he did while he was in office. That is Pandey saying that about Robinson. In his Facebook post 2 days later, Pandey said, it seems that my response to some journalists from the media who asked me to comment on the passing of A.N.R. Robinson has caused some very interesting comments, but none has accused me of speaking untruth. Had I loaded praise on Mr. Robinson, I would have been accused of hypocrisy, and justifiably so. All I said that history would not be kind to Mr. Robinson as I had been to him. And when pressed for an explanation of that statement, I referred to the 1818 election deadlock in 2001. I also referred to the breakup of the NAR. In doing so, I spoke not an untrue word. Would my critics have preferred that I lied? Some say I should have said what I said I should not have said it on such an occasion. Is there an occasion for the truth and another reserved for lies? If so, then they must surely have a morality of their own. I only ask that they do not pass it on to their luckless children. So this was the Facebook post now. One day after the post was made, Leela Dar Singh posted, I'm glad that Robinson is gone forever. McLeod, not Errol, another McLeod, responded, you would also be gone forever. We all have to go. I can't believe how big people can be so stupid. This is Leela Dar Singh responding. Go F yourself, McLeod. You bastards will never understand because you never had to fight nor work for anything. I give my opinion and I don't care what you effing parasites think. Now I need to stop there for a minute. This man is saying, this letter that I'm saying, who they asked about this Forex thing and he answered that we never work in real life. You see, that is a false narrative that the ancestors who came here in 1845 fed to them. Because they let them believe it's because African people didn't want to work. That is why they had to come here and work on contracts. They didn't explain to them. It's not that we didn't want to work. They freed us from enslavement. After they put us in enslavement, they freed us from enslavement. They never paid us nothing. They treat us less than animals. We were beaten. Laws were made to beat women. We were beaten. We were raped. We were mutilated. We were starved sometimes to work unjust and uncruel hours. So when they said they emancipated us, when we look into right, they say, here what? You have to work again for the next 5 years for nothing again as an apprenticeship system. We say, master, they're done and we left everything and go. They don't tell their ancestors that when they came in 1845 and they make the trend, they feel in the head, the end and them, lazy. They didn't want to work that when we come here. That is what they say and they keep saying it and it is a lie. That is why I want the day to come when we have an open and honest relations about race relations in this country. Because when they came here in 1845, they meet a thriving society. They meet the forest done cut down. They went in the Caroni plain. It wasn't Caroni forest. We cut down the forest. We ancestors dead from snake bite and scorpion bite. They come and meet cane done plant to reap. They meet barracks done build. Because we was living in something. Eh? So how we could be lazy? Because we refuse to continue to work under them conditions? Because all the ancestors make them feel because they come here and work on contract for money and think they're better than we. That's where these things started, you know, because in India, and all of them know it. In India, they were Dalits. That is a history. Me and trying to be cruel. That was a history. They were treated less than animals in India. When they see a Brahmin coming, they have to drop to the ground, think their head, because if the shadow fall on a Brahmin and one of the higher castes and them, that was taboo, was a blight. There was a ritual the Brahmin and them had to do to rid themselves of that blight. They were in India taking a filth of the street. No fault of theirs. That was the inhuman caste system, taking a filth on the street, dealing with bodily fluids. That is taboo in Hinduism. Tell them I say like that is what they was doing. They were uneducated. That's why they were called. I'm going to say the word in the context what it means. Because when they say the N word, it had 3 and 4 meaning. But when they say the word coolie, when you look at the meaning of coolie, it says unskilled laborers. And to this day, in Asian countries, it still have coolies working. Them just carry load, work in the port and carry things on the head and all that. That's what it was. So they were unskilled coolie and they came here. St. James was even called Coolie Town because the port, the sea riders, so a lot of them came there. A lot of them were vagrants in this country, the first set of beggars in this country. A lot of them died in the poorhouse and buried in the poor man's cemetery, in the pauper cemetery. They doesn't want to talk about that history. They just only want to talk about the successes. But they don't want to talk about the real part of the history. And if they talk about it, they realize that they did well. But they always want to make it feel that we lazy, we didn't do nothing, and them come here and do everything. Hell no. You remember I read and tell you all that in the Indian community, that wife chopping up neck come from there. But the cutlass, they were called the wife killers, the wife murderers, the coolie murderers, and they were hanged for that in this country. Those things are historical facts. I didn't make it up. So let me continue. I just deviated for a minute. I say everybody be proud of your history, you know. Be proud of it, you know, whether it's bad, good, or indifferent, because that is who make you. That's what made you. If you want to be ashamed of your history, that's all the business. I am not ashamed of mine. So he continued. The post by Ladar Singh received 1 like from Bridshi Ramkisoon. Checks on his profile have revealed that Ramkisoon is a medical doctor, you see. You remember the next doctor, Swao? How he say, he language alone, I don't know how he passed medical school. I don't know where he went medical school because his intonation, how he speak, sounds very, very bong. Very, very bong and lagoonish. That is a fact. That is tonguing like no doctor. I have heard Indian doctors speak and I've heard Indian people, professionals speak. They don't sound so. He sound like he just got up and commodity in field. Who want to say racist like the business? Or they listen to that swagman talk, that doctor. They won't believe if they didn't say it's a doctor. You'll never believe it's a doctor. And he had the nastiest thing to say about African people. But I continue. So. McLeod respond to his rant was, ha ha ha, you real funny. It was at this point that Ladar Singh stated again, and you are a stinking N. You see how he going out of control with the behavior? Okay. McLeod brushed aside the comment stating, if you can say what you want, you still have to dead. And you will die as a low-class N, Ladar Singh answered back. McLeod responded, you didn't know me, nor my status, and you are so confident about your statement. From what I can see is that you have no class. Here Ladar Singh, F you both, Anthony McLeod, you are effing stinking low-class N, Ladar Singh wrote. Pandey then intervened and warned Ladar Singh about his conduct, stating, my dear Jai Shima, please do not do anything to exacerbate the racial problems which has been on the bane of this society for centuries. Speak your mind without being offensive, please. On December 26, 2014, Ladar Singh also accused the Express of being racist and called for a boycott of the newspaper on Facebook. Who caused any race problems? So I continue. So I just wanted to literally bring back some memory there to you. So let me continue. So, there's always a conversation that it was the UNC who raised and increased pension. That is partly correct. And I'm going to read a little thing about this pension. Because I just want you to feel that the UNC did so much for this country and for people because they love me so. And because people don't know the genesis of these things, they give me a minute. It doesn't get carried away. Give me a minute. Okay. This was Dukaran, Winston Dukaran. This was in wiseequity.com. It says here this was in June 2010. Dukaran, 3,000 pension in new budget. In his first budget, Finance Minister Winston Dukaran hopes to deliver on the People's Partnership Manifesto pledge to give a $3,000 pension to all old age pensioners. Those are the ones at 65. Speaking at the Sunday Express, Dukaran conceded that there might have been an expectation that this increase would have been applied across the board to all pensioners, including NIS pensioners, who currently receive $2,000 a month. All pensions have been harmonized at $2,000 a month. But in April of this year, the PNM increased old age pension to $2,500. Will you listen to that? April this year, so this was written and said what Dukaran would have said in 2010 in his first budget. But in April, it had to be either 15 or 16, the PNM increased old age pension to $2,500. The People Partnership made an election promise to carry this even higher to $3,000. Said Dukaran, there was, let me revise that. That was under Mr. Manning. They had raised it to 2005, and the PP government had pledged to raise it to 3,000. But Dukaran is saying in his first budget that it may not be possible. Right, so let me get the timeline right. Said Dukaran, there is a medium to long-term proposal for a universal harmonized pension plan. And within the context of this plan, there was a specific provision in the People's Partnership Manifesto to increase pensions to 3,000 for old age pensioners. We would have liked to do this universally, but that might take some time. So we would do it in stages. We intend to move in that direction of a universal harmonized pension, but I don't think we can afford to do that in this budget unless the figures tune up otherwise and it is affordable, he said. He said the National Insurance Board and the Ministry of Finance were working out the costs of the proposal. But he said the first requirement of the ministry was fiscal consolidation. He added that once the proposal could fit into this fiscal consolidation plan, the pledge will be honored. He also explained that the first goal is to have this 3,000 pension for persons over 65. The People's Partnership had initially promised to carry down the pensionable age to 60 years old, but this would not be possible right now, Dukaran said. So let me go to what happened under this was budget promises kept and not delivered. So they were talking, this was in The Guardian, this was budget promises that was kept by the People's National Movement. And this was the 24th of the 9th month. So it says here, as Minister of Finance Com Ember gets ready to present his 10th budget, it is appropriate to look back at the promises that have been delivered and what has not as yet. The 2016 budget, which was delivered on October the 5th, 2015, less than a month after the People's National Movement was returned to office, started at $63 billion, including the $5 billion in back pay owed to public servants. Today on radio, I heard a UNC activist talk Aseta Gubar when he was told that although Kamla Prasad Bissessa would have settled with the unions for the period 2011-13, 14% that they didn't pay it. It was the People's National Movement who came in 2015, but I had to borrow money to pay that agreement that was left there. And Kamla Prasad Bissessa, they signed a lot of agreements before they left hurriedly and left it for the People's National Movement to go and pay. So he say no, they didn't pay it. Yes, PNM paid the 14%. Yes, it was settled under UNCDPP government, but it was left for PNM to pay and Dr. Rowley, and they borrowed money to pay. So I continue. During his budget presentation, Embert said, consistent with PNM's 2015 election manifesto promise, I propose to increase the cap on joint incomes received by retirees in respect of national insurance and old age pension. The new cap will now be $5,000. Under PP government, it was no $5,000. You hear things say 2,000 NIS and 2,000 old age, and I think they put $500. So it was getting, I think, 4,500, if I'm not mistaken, between NIS and pension. So then this is under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and the People's National Movement. The new cap will now be 5,000, an additional $500 per month, which will cost 160.0 million and will put more money in the pockets of 88,000 senior citizens. So yes, the UNC raised it by $500, so it was 4,500. When the PNM came in, they raised it by $500 again. So it is $5,000. Don't let them fool only when they're talking. Yes, UNC raised it by 5, but PNM come and raise it by the next 5. This measure did take effect on December 1st, 2015. So that one of the first promises they made in the manifesto, they did it. Another 2015 election manifesto promise that was executed with the creation of a retirees benefit program that will provide free driver's permits and passport for retirees over the age of 60. This measure took effect on January 1st, 2016. So yes, senior citizens now can get all those documents free, and they could provide it on the boat and go to Tobago free and come back. They could travel on any PTSD bus for free. It was delivered. Other promises delivered as followed. Local government reform embarked upon the policy document. They did do that. We heard about it in the last year local government election. Successfully brought the overdraft facility from -9 billion to 0. Gate reviewed to ensure savings and efficiency. We saw that happen, and these are things that happen that in their manifesto, the PNM manifesto, that they said they were going to do, and it was delivered. National Tripartite Advisory Council established, paving the way for greater consultation, cut out wastage in delivery of food card. In fiscal 2018, some of the promises delivered to date are restrictions on maxi taxi license removed to allow for a freer public transportation system, grants up to $100,000, 20 million allocated by government for farmers under a new agricultural financial support program. Applicants must be properly certified and qualified. A royalty rate of 12.5% is now applicable across the board on extraction of oil, gas, condensate, and gas. Tax of 10% on all cash winnings at NLCB, and commercial banks have a new tax bracket of 35% from January 1st, 2018. Kamala had them paying 18%. They're paying 35% now. In fiscal 2019, amongst the promises delivered from the 15.76 billion budget award, public service pension increased to a minimum of $3,500 per month for public servants on retirement. A cap will now be placed on senior citizens' pension, being raised to $6,000, allowing those in receipt of both NIS and senior citizen grant to receive up to $3,000 from both. In the age eligibility, on disability grants was removed to accommodate children under 18. The grants increased from $800 to $1,500 for those over 18 and increased from $18,000 to $2,000. The public assistance grant was increased by $150. Food cards value increased by $100 effective January 1st, 2019. In 2020, total expenditure of $53.036 billion in incentive were delivered. Removal of all taxes and duties on lead bulbs for 5 years. On-the-job training increased the stipend by 10% and increased intake of the program to 8,000 trainees. Increase of minimum wage from $15 to $17.50 per hour, which had benefited 194,000. It has now gone to, I think, $22.50, I'm not mistaken. $3 billion in interest behind government bonds to registered VAT businesses to meet their VAT arrears, tenure of 5 years and interest of 1.5% annum. In fiscal 2021, when the country was in the period of COVID-19 pandemic, the minister was prudent in what was promised. Over the next few years, the HDC will deliver over 25,000 homes on state land and provide a mix of housing solutions for people of different levels of income and socioeconomic standing. We see that with the starter homes that are being built. Anyone earning $7,000 per month or less was exempted from income tax, as the personal tax allowance was raised from $72,000 to $84,000. That has raised further. If your tax incentive is $7,500 earning per month, you're exempted from paying tax. And if your annual allowance is over 90,000, then you have to pay. Under 90,000, you have to pay. So it was raised even more. In fiscal 2022, Ember gave further incentive, which included agriculture, 300 million stimulus packages expected to boost farming industry, TTMF and house mortgage bank merge, taxation of 12.5% on tax on oil, cereal, canned food, canned fish, curry, etc. And looking at fiscal 2023 budget presentation, the VAT registration threshold was increased from $500,000 per year to $600,000 to provide relief and support in payment of VAT to benefit the small and medium enterprise sector in particular. Personal income tax allowance, the government increased the exemption on the personal income tax limit from $84,000 to $90,000 per year. And this means that people earning salary at $7,000 or less will be exempt from the income tax. That went on to change to $7,500, I'm sure. $7,500 it was raised to. And for fiscal 2024, there was a sweetener for minimum wage workers as their monies increased from $17.50 to $20.50 per hour. So it's $20.50. $1 billion in back pay, which started in December 2023, for needy students in primary and secondary schools using a means test, a school supply and book grant of $1,000. And people, you must know these things, right? So let me move on. So anytime they tell you that the PNM never raised pension, yes, they did. UNC did raise it by $500, and when PNM came in, raised it by the next $500. Yeah? Let me continue. These things are important. So listen to Dr. Munilan. I'll just play you a little piece.
He came humbly, gracefully. He said, I think these people make a good recommendation. We'll accept it. We'll accept it. Don't blame we. It has something called the SRC, Salary Review Commission, right? Nobody knows who is a member there. In fact, the members could be sitting down here and we don't know. We don't know who is that. They make this recommendation and they wrongly say, I think they did a good piece of work. I think we'll accept it. They did good. That's a nice work. Nice work. $28,000 more a month. 47% increase for him. For the first time ever, the Prime Minister will receive more money per month than the President of this country. Rowley, that's what we come with. And then there's Camille Robinson Regis. Hey, I on a mic here. When I go into court, I don't see too much people behind me. When I'm talking, let the simple people in front of me. Camille Robinson Regis, now what could I say about her that is decent? Making a statement last night or night before, I think, and she said, well, the UNC and then they don't want no salary increase, you know what I mean? They just get their money elsewhere and they just do wrongdoing and that money, we need the increase, I think. Camille Robinson Regis, who was the government minister? Who went to get a credit card from the government? Use taxpayers' money. To buy what? To buy chandelier. To buy wig. Keep on getting no like me to say it, but it's only when they take away the credit card that you realize that I have no here here. It gives us sorry. We do not depend on the treasury to live. Camille Robinson Regis, you depend on the treasury to live. Because they never fight a dog case. If a man fight a dog, they can't win that. Brothers and sisters, so they have no other skill. All of them are unemployable. What are the government bench? I want to ask you something. They are leaving in a few months. They are demitting office. You would hire any one of them? Is that why there's a parlor there? Right here, parlor there. You didn't call Invert to run that parlor? That will bust in 1 month. Keith, 1 week. Keith Rowley cannot sell Tulum, Benabol, Cafanol. He cannot sell that and make a profit, brothers and sisters. They cannot run anything, any of it.
So that's a July. And I was wondering, hey, where's this? Then I hear somebody say he had to put in. You remember the defense that I put in with the Privy Council say for 7 years, they put in the defense in the MBD matter, and they was to do it, I think, the 6th of November. It didn't want to get an extension. It had to do so. It looked like when things started tighten, he just started carry on. So he said something about Dr. Rowley and with the SRC and the payments. In 2014, he wouldn't tell you that they joined with ComEmbert when ComEmbert was saying that the recommendation that the SRC were proposing for the increases in salary for the 950 senior public officers included politicians. It wasn't adequate. It wasn't realistic. There was disparities. They agreed with him. The UNC, that was the government at the time, they agreed with what ComEmbert said. The final money was small money. So in 2024, the money increased and they say they wanted. Well, let's study them and that chop it up. He also said that Dr. Rowley salary would have increased by some 40-something%. He ain't telling only that Kamala Prasad own increased by 70-something%. They ain't talking that part, right? So let me just tell only quick. Asking questions. Kamala, 2015, she graduated as Prime Minister, $2,238,000. She graduated as a Member of Parliament in 2015, $751,968. Kamala current monthly salary, $64,470. Kamala annual salary, $773,640. Kamala current gratuity based on 20% of her current annual salary, $1,054,728 per annum. Her pay is made up of $44,470, that's she pension, transport allowance, $5,880, subsistence allowance, $1,500, housing allowance, $12,360. And after the 2015 election, all UNC members receive a gratuity of $500,000. Don't let them fool you. They want the money. Right? They want the money. and she getting more money when they count all them things together than even the Prime Minister. Right? Based on what I read in here. So then he went on to say that this government cannot run even a parlor and they're not employable. I want to ask him if the UNC bench, if they're employable. So I'm going to read. They have a picture coming up beside this sister. Led a government of corruption, physical assault, drug use, alleged, sexual assault, criminal wrongdoing, witness tampering, fraud, misappropriation, money laundering scandals, Cambridge Analytica. This one here. Allegation. Implicated in criminal investigation into Trinidad and Tobago 3 million account as Kamala personal assistant. This one here. Alleged before the court for TNT 200 million EMBD bid-rigging scandal while he was Minister of Housing. Watch this one here. Allegation investigated for his role in sex ring at the PTSD in 2012. Implicated by former PP government minister, allegation of human trafficking. Look this one here, the drunkard. Fired as Minister of Sports and implicated in drug and alcohol abuse, corruption, gang-related scandals. Watch this one here. Fired from AGC and accused of corruption, bid-rigging, by bribery, courting criminals, fiscal impropriety. This one here. Repeated allegations of involvement with criminal gangs, reported as being kidnapped while reportedly in company of a known gang leader, interviewed by police but would not make a report. Not me saying these things. Look at next one here. Ugly. Charged with misbehavior in public office and conspiracy to defraud. Out on $1 million bail. Look at next one here. Fired as head of TSTT Assets Management for being involved in alleged TNT $3.3 million embezzlement scandal. Look at next one here, the floor mat. Guilty of lying to Parliament as Speaker of the House, did it to stop a no confidence motion in Larry Hawaii, Minister of Finance. So, them employable. But the government side where nobody, before the court and no allegations or nothing, nobody charged, nobody in no corruption scandal, nothing. They're not employable. Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley is an accomplished scientist. He was the head of the Seismic Research Center in UWIUE. And I'm sure if he want work, he could get back there. Carl Members is an architect. And the list goes on and on and on. Minister Stuart Young is an accomplished lawyer, SC, and I think his specialty is contract law, international contract law, if I'm not mistaken. And we goes on and on and on. Who more employable, based on what I just read? He went on also to say he does not know, them don't know who is the SRC members, but the SRC was, the board members were chosen in consultation with the Prime Minister, opposition leader, and the President. It means that Kamala know who they are, and if she know who they are, it's obvious that her members of Parliament know who they are. The Prime Minister know who they are, and it's obvious the members of the Parliament don't know who they are, and the President know who they are. So I'm looking at this here, and I'm seeing appointment to the Salary Reviews Commission October 2022, Mr. Charles Martin Digans has been appointed as member of the Salaries Review Commission. Mr. Digans, who was first appointed to the SRC in October 2019, will serve another 3 years. I'm also seeing here one Ms. Nicole Ferreira Arun. She was sworn in 2021 as the chairman of the Salary Reviews Commission at the President's House. There's also a familiar name, Ms. Sandra Manchak. She is a former Chief Personal Officer, CPO, she's also a part of the Salary Review Commission. So when you're talking about, you will know who they are, and you will know if they know who they are. But again, anytime you have to lie to make a point, you never had a point. Then he went on to speak about Madam Camille Robinson Regis and say if you have anything good to say. And he went on to speak about the fact that she has a bald head. And I want to tell him, none of the UNC women can cut off all the hair, shave off all the hair and look good like Camille Robinson Regis. They can't. So if she had choose to wear a wig for whatever reason, that is her choice, because plenty women wear an extension in their head. So what is the problem? If she choose now, she going to go bald head, she look beautiful. And no Kamala can shave she head and look good. Khadija can't shave she head. Michelle Benjamin can't shave she head. And all the women on them, Mohit and all of them, they can't shave the head and look good. So if you're trying to embarrass Camille Robinson Regis, Madam Camille Robinson Regis, Member of Parliament for in Maloney, and Minister of, I think it's Housing River, you're trying to embarrass she or shame she for wearing she here with us for whatever reason. You can't shame she, because you know what we could say? I wonder if we could find something good to say and wonder if your tummy tuck, if it is true, it is alleged you have a tummy tuck. When they get on small, it is alleged that tummy tuck you went and get, and it's alleged when it starts to get back big, they say the tummy tuck, like the tuck, on tuck. Me didn't say so, I don't know. So I should ask you, Dr. Rudal Munila, with the greatest of respect, did you get a tummy tuck? Why you lose all that weight and you gain back weight? Is it because the tummy tuck on tuck? I'm asking. Because I'm looking for something decent to say. But the need to always try to embarrass people of African descent, especially when these people of African descent are part of the People's National Movement. But we see them for who they are. And we will bring the truth and the facts to people to know. Do you all know that the Chief Justice was threatening to take the government to court if they didn't accept the recommendations of the SRC report? 1st of December, Daily Express, Rowley, Dr. Rowley. Government was facing legal threat over SRC report. The government was, give me a minute. So if Kamala and them don't want the money, the 900 and whoever, senior public officers, them talking, the judiciary, them want the money. Government is facing a threat of legal action with respect to the 117 report of the Salary Reviews Commission, SRC, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has disclosed. Chief Justice Ifa Archie, on behalf of the judiciary, was considering taking legal action against the state with respect to a recommendation in the 117 SRC report that there be no increases in the salary and allowances for judges. The Prime Minister said in an interview with the Sunday Express on Tuesday. The Prime Minister announced on Thursday, that would be last week, that the Cabinet had decided to accept the salary increase recommendation of the SRC 120th report. Judges were amongst those who would benefit from the salary increases. The judiciary contended that the SRC recommendation contained inconsistencies that were unfair. In the 117 report, salary increase were recommended for 93.3% of the officers falling under the ambit of the SRC. Salary decreases were recommended for 4.5% for officers, while the SRC recommended that 2.2% of officers maintain their salary and allowances. Dr. Rowley said the SRC 117 report, which was tabled in Parliament in February of this year, was done without any reasonable consideration for the judiciary. Without any reasonable consideration for the judiciary. The Prime Minister said he received a 6-page letter from the Chief Justice on behalf of the judiciary, threatening to take the government to court over the interpretation in law in consideration of the commission. The commission consisted of people who are doing volunteer work for the country. I could not allow that situation to develop where the Chief Justice would have had to take the commission to court. So the Cabinet took a decision to ask the commission to review its work. That is what is sensible and reasonable government would do. So we did that, and we gave them the SRC a time frame in which to do it. They reported a little outside of the time frame, but they did the work, he said. So apparently the first report they would have made, remember I told you back in 2014, the opposition, the government at the time, PP government, agreed with the opposition, which was the PNM government, that it was unfair that 117 report of the JSC with the salary disparity, and I think the judiciary and they would have also probably found it also unfair. And Dr. Oli would have sent back that report for them to treat it properly, and that is what we have now. And with all the hullabaloo all over the place, judiciary is saying, if all they give we money, we taking all it to court. So let me continue. So right now, there's a group of unions that going under the umbrella of JTOM. Now, JTOM is not the umbrella body recognized by any international agency as the umbrella body for unions in this country. They form the thing and then doing the thing. So this group of unions under, excuse me, the umbrella of JTOM in 2024, the 22nd, 6 months, 3 more JTOM members support call to oust the PNN. 3 more members of the Joint Trade Union movement have come out in support of its president call to vote out the People's National Movement, even if it means partnering with the United National Congress. However, the fracture within the JTOM based on that position continues to spread as another member affirmed that it would remain politically neutral. This fragmentation has caught the attention of the government with the whole thing just jumping. With Energy Minister Stuart Young telling Guardian Media yesterday, what was more telling to me is that the vast majority of unions have stated their position, which is that they would not be encouraging their members one way or the other, and they are apolitical. So far, the Amalgamated Workers Union, the Communication Workers Union, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Union have all pledged to stay politically neutral. The banking, insurance, and general workers said they didn't make up their mind yet if they want to stay politically neutral. But joining the Public Service Association is the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, and their mission is to remove the sitting government from office, and the Fire Service Association of Trinidad and Tobago 2nd Division, the Trinidad and Tobago Postal Workers, and the Trinidad and Tobago Farmers Union. Them agitating to remove this government from office. Oilfield Trade Union, Public Service Association, Postal Workers Trade Union, Fire Service, Trinidad and Tobago 2nd Division. I think also there's the Farmer Union in it, and if I'm not mistaken, SWWTU. Excuse me. So their mission is to remove this government and work with the UNC. What is informative? This is what Roger said about the PP-UNC government, the one he's willing to work with right now. And all them other unions, the Trinidad Farmers, Postal Workers, OWTU, PSA, and I think it's WWTU.
Trinidad and Tobago, this is just but a small reminder how this government really worked for you. Evidently, on May 24, 2010, this country was fooled into believing that the UNC had the country's best interests at heart. And it was for that and that only reason you gave them an opportunity to govern. But today in 2015, before you go to the polls on September the 7th, you have not only a clear record of their abysmal performance, but you have actually lived 5 long, bitter years of the consequences of their actions. For these 5 long, bitter years, you helplessly looked on in horror and dismay as we slide into an abyss of bad governance, the likes of which the country has never experienced. Even though they committed to referendum and the right of recall, like so many other commitments, they just did not deliver. So as a citizen, you could neither recall them nor communicated your disgust and dissatisfaction with their extreme poor level of governance. But now you have this only opportunity which you can ill afford to waste. You will have only yourself to blame if you do not exercise your democratic right to save our country from becoming a failed state. We have traveled.
Right? That is the Roger who marching now because they want to go back with Kamala against his government. Let me apply next one. You could believe these men, them could have any credibility. Listen to this.
They have failed miserably in providing safety and security for families across Trinidad and Tobago. They deliberately dismantled all our security arrangements, leaving our borders totally unmanned and unprotected, allowing free access for the importation of prostitution, drugs, guns, ammunition into our country at an unprecedented level. Today, the country is reaping the deadly impact of these fatal decisions, where the most gruesome murders are now occurring sometimes at the average rate of 2 or 3 per day. It matters not who you are or what political party you support. Today, nobody is safe or protected from this extreme lawlessness, where these murderers have unlimited access to sophisticated guns and ammunition simply because these deadly items can easily land on our shores because there is no border protection at all. And now, after 5 years of this colossal failure, the Prime Minister, in her 20 pledges for 2020, is saying that she has a plan for crime. This has to be a national joke, especially since the man leading the police service is still in an acting position for the last 3 years. This high level of lawlessness with gun-toting bandits and murderers is swiftly matched with the pen-toting criminals in the government and in the boardrooms of state enterprises. We have also had to endure an unprecedented level of both allegations and revelations of corruption. We have had in Trinidad and Tobago people amassing great wealth from the public purse, people who became super rich from the NGC Public Relations Fund, the NGC Wastewater Project, the NEC Mysterious Bank Transfer, Petrotrin Southwest Soldado Deal, Petrotrin Bunkering Deal, corruption at TNTech, and many other state enterprises. People became multi-millionaire from live sport programs, controversial corrupt interchange, the FCP IPO, the Phoenix Park IPO, and the questionable NP service station contracts, among many others. Allegations of corruption at Swimcol and at the EMA, where it is reported that people were made millionaires. Then we have major fiascos that plagued us over the last 5 years. It was Emailgate, Prisongate, Petrotringate, NGCgate, NPgate, NECgate, IRgate, and even the Children's Life Fund, where children are in desperate need of medical attention. This also did not escape their grasp. But corruption.
Want to hear that? I hear some of them MPs say no, when they get the money, they go ting it and help the people and all that. On that camera, person be necessary to give money out of the salary to go in the trend fund. The thief out that too. Munilan talking about thief, he forget what my candle lager say, the thief money from the treasury. If I have a right, the thief is them was living off the treasury. And then to top it off, you remember Jack Warner say, he sent whoever wife to study in England or London, wherever, and he turn around and say, because hit dogs as holler. He wife not in London, she in England or some shipping so as if England, London not the same, London is the city, England is the, and who then could not buy a chubby and a doubles, wherever it is. they now could buy XYZ, XYZ. Who was eating off the treasury? Let me continue. But this is Roche, and people marching behind this man. Seriously, this man tell me all the thing about
The
Kamala.
UNC has failed miserably in managing our economy. Could you imagine giving them another 5 years?
So we heard them before. My point is, them men lead and march because them want UNC to come back under Kamala when they say all these things. They never said about Dr. Roy and the PNM though. Jack Warner say governments may have had pockets of corruption. The PNM had O'Halloran and Private. They had to go back 90 years to dig back up their men bones. They can't talk about nothing more than. But he said the UNC, all of them corrupt. I see MSG, if I'm mistaken, Abdullah too, how he say. I want Abdullah to remember saying this. Don't forget them, you know, because they want people to march with them.
Of the Movement for Social Justice, David Abdullah admits that former Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa knew about corruption in her government but did nothing to stop it. During an MSJ meeting in Marabella, Mr. Abdullah, who hopes to form the next government, recalled a meeting in 2012 when he was part of the People's Partnership Administration. He said he brought to Mrs. Bissessa's attention that corruption would bring down the government.
She herself agreed with me and then said she can't do anything about it. She's not going to do anything about it. So she was part of the corruption if she was not prepared to stop the corruption. Because there are sins of omission and sins of commission. And if you know something is wrong and you don't do anything about it, then you're as guilty as the wrongdoer is.
He then warned the listeners to be aware of her apologies, reminding them about Little Red Riding Hood.
Now she's trying to rebrand herself and reinvent herself, saying that she apologized for the errors, going around and hugging up people and so on, playing grandma. And I want to remind you about the story of Little Red Riding Hood, because the wolf ate grandma and then put on grandma's clothes and took Little Red Riding Hood down the road.
Right? That is Abdullah. Them more Kamala and them to come back here. We own say because them is MSG. And them calling for march. Lord Father. Oh God, oh, when them people tell you run, stand up. When they tell you stand up, take off, you know. Take off, you know. Let me see if I find it here. Oh God, where this thing is going, which way to put it? Let me see if I find it here. Oh gosh. Where could this thing going? Let me see if I find it. Just now. Look at my minute. It's important we see these things. Which part I download that thing, boy? Mulan, who living on the treasury? Who was living on the treasury?
In my whole 50 or 60 years, I had never heard so much corruption in London Island as I've heard in this country in the last years. I can't understand why we have to go to our day government happening. There's been private corruption. And everything that they are saying, you and I are paying for to that because the country is in a position to do as the art to be the present administration. People are stealing money as if they exempt it. As if they are like to preach.
Right? Who he said thieving from the treasury as if they have a right to thief? Who was living off the treasury? Who was punching off the treasury? and two MSJ people sit around there and said that the UNC is a kleptocratic government. That I was looking for, but I'll play it the next day. So let me continue, because I want to fool people. Now, SWWTU is speaking about a memorandum of agreement that was signed in 2015. Again, the UNC was signing all kind of things, quick, they're in business, between SWWTU, port workers, and the Port Authority. I think Stephen Cadiz at the time was the Minister of Transport, if I'm not mistaken. And it had agreed to a 12% increase. Well, listen to this logic, right? So if in 2015, a memorandum of agreement, it wasn't signed between the CPO and the union or nothing. The management of the Port Authority and the SWWTU on behalf of port workers. That happened in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. And he said, no agitating. If you had a memorandum of agreement and you know or you feel it could stand up in law, why didn't you take it to court? Why did you not take it to court for this government who came in 2015 that they pay that? Why didn't you take it to court? You sit on it and now it come back out. Because all they want to tie it in with the 4% and the SRC payment. All they don't be fooled. If Anisat and them was convinced that the memorandum of agreement could stand up in court because the Port Authority signed 12% with them and they didn't need to have the CPO there to do that, and a new government come in, why didn't take the government to court to get the money? For port workers, you're now coming all these years after to talk about that? Failures. Here the next thing. You ain't hearing them who marching because, and he said, Roger calling for them to hit the street. Them is the unions and them who want the PNM out of office. I call them again as WWTU, OWTU, farmers workers, postal workers, and PSC. Them hitting the streets with members to march against the high increase in salary from the SRC. The SRC did the work for them members under the purview, the 950 members. They did it back in 2013 or 14. Nobody didn't agree with that, and they take all them years, they come back now, they do the work. You want to hear the unions talking about the 5% offer that is on the table for the period 2020, 21, and 22. Them who marching in the streets, they're not talking about that. You know what they're talking about? The 4%. And pegging the 4% to say, the government give public officers 4%, but look how much money the SRC giving them. That's what they're doing. Because they know why they want to do that. They want to keep in the head the conversation that we didn't agree the 4%. And I'll keep telling all you. 2014, 15, 16, I'm talking about PSA here now. Baptiste and Juke wasn't going to sit down with the CPO in good faith. It's one side of games because they was busy getting Juke into politics, national politics. And he became the minority leader. So he had time for that because campaigning. It is alleged he didn't take money from the union via general council for his campaign. Or he had or some kind of thing so. Right? So PSA money always jumping up and them personal thing. So them then had time 14, 15, 16, them then had time with that. 17 period around, there's a next negotiating period, 18, 19. Same thing. By 16, he on rape charge. He's standing trial for that right now in court. By 16, he on rape charge. By 17, by 16, he also became, anywhere around there, I think the minority leader of the THA. By 17, I think by 17, anyway, they formed the PDP with the Baptiste right there with him. When they was getting time to sit down and work on the negotiation. 2019, he come and tell me, the Minister of Finance gave here a settlement a percentage settlement for the period 14, 15, 16. But he ain't looking at it now. He go look at it the next year. You know why he ain't do it? Because remember, he's a politician now. He don't want the government to look good. If he was a union leader, he would have looked at it, bring it to General Council, and if General Council go back and talk to all sections and whatever, and we agree, we would have settled, we have negotiated since 2019 or whatever, and we'd have been looking at 17, 18, 19 back then. But he didn't want to do that because he's a politician now. So all he moved on them is about showing up the government as a wicked and bad. So who to blame? When after you get a settlement for the period 14, 15, 16, and you're politicking all over, then coming out of that, because it was in a recession, we understand that either 6 or 9% was the offer. Coming out of that for the period 17, 18, 19, going in there now, COVID-19. And by the time the Minister of Finance invite all virtually, because all they say, all they was trying to meet with the CPO, and there wasn't meeting. Why all they didn't take the CPO to court? Because if it's in law, in the Industrial Relations Act and Civil Service Act, that is law. Because let's use that for all kind of other things. It's law. And all they're trying to reach out to the CPO and say, hey, CPO, are you ready? Look, my wage proposal here. We want a date. And the CPO docking all you. Take the CPO to court via the Minister of Finance. Let the court decide whether or not they're in breach of the regulations. File an industrial relation offense against the two of them. Or they ain't do nothing. Or they sit down there quiet and stewing. Sit down there. This old time way, that's all they having all from Butler days. We go march. Go and tell your workers and them, your members and them, they won't give you the money and the members. I can't take this, huh? That's all they like. All they don't like the idea going and sit down in an amicable space and sit and talk and have a conversation, mediate, conciliate, negotiation. All they want that. All they wait until they invite all they virtually. How much years after? About 8 years after, to a virtual meeting for the government to tell all you, they have no money. All they could offer is 4%, nothing more. Because that COVID-19, recession, Treasury had money for 3 days and all kind of thing. None of all they had anything to come and say, Rowley, you lie. But you're wicked, you lie. CPO, we are taking. All they had nothing. So the government, they dig in 4%, nothing more. Because they know they have nothing to show that they could pay more. And if you can't show how they could get money to pay more, you ain't say they have a tree plant down in La Perouse, they could go and pick from that money. You ain't say they have a dig down in a hole, they could dig out and get. That is a recurring expenditure. So they couldn't show where they could get the money to pay. That is why we still get the 4%. Because that's what they offer, they said that's all they could pay. So they're only talking about that to show now, look how the government paid us a big money, but they're only focusing on Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and his back pay. They didn't focus on Kamla Prasad and she back pay. Here was she back pay again. I read it all here to show you how they wicked, they stink. Here she back pay. She gratuity, which is the back pay, as Prime Minister in 2015 when she demit office, when she lost the election. $2,238,000. All they just said Dr. Rowley back pay some $1 million or something, or eating up policy. Kamla get $2,238,000. Not a sound, all they say nothing. All they sick. All they sick by. So let me continue. They want to over that for 5%. Because you know why? The 5% is an offer that is placed on the table for negotiations to start. Tell me what that means. Before the government, they say 4% is what all they're getting, and that is it. Because of this, Now they're telling all you 4% on the table, you know. For 3 years, 3 years, it's on the table. Come and start to negotiate. And we have the Minister of Finance saying that we're telling them, which one of them is a waste of friggin' time, boy. Them is a waste of time. In the Daily Express, here what the Minister of Finance said, this was the 30th of September 2024. Finance Minister delivers a beat, 59.7 billion budget. Better days are coming. Sounding an optimistic note that better days are coming, Embed said. Our economy is growing and we simply have to be careful and spend money wisely and live within our means until 2027 when the cross-border gas is expected to flow. And to give comfort to those who may be confused and concerned at the barrage of negativity coming from those who do not wish us or the country well, I can now confirm that from October the 1st, 2024, the new revenue sharing arrangement that arise from the restructuring of Atlantic LNG and the new pricing formula for natural gas will yield substantial enhanced revenue for Trinidad and Tobago permanently. Roger and them in word they sold, but them as politicians. Hear what the minister say again. 5% offer is on the table for the negotiations to start. That's on the table. You have he saying in September 2024. Better days are coming. New revenue sharing arrangement arise from the restructuring of Atlantic LNG. New formula pricing of natural gas will yield substantial enhanced revenue. We have the PTT on we land, them going and start to drill gas and all that. And the economy looking different than it looked back in 2021 or anyway they were invited to the economic presentation where we come out of COVID-19 with the whole world in lockdown, nothing was moving, things didn't selling, and we had a recession in 2015. All the members still marching all day. But here the next thing, I will advise union leaders send all the members to get some education on labor and negotiation or collective bargaining. Send them to Cipriani for a little course, or they have somebody come in on the union and give them a refresher, what do you call this course? A basic course in that, so they go understand that. I hear one talking about the 4% go out to the 5% and make it 9%. Let me tell you something. That's not how it is done. The 4% is for the period we're going. If you negotiate and close off for them for them 6 years at 4%, you can start no negotiation for no 20, 21, 22. It don't work so. And they can't say, well, I ain't signed for the 4. So here what? If 5 on the table now, put the 5 and the 4 together and we're going to negotiate for that. Then you're talking about 9 years. We don't negotiate like that. You have to close off our previous negotiations first. When it is concluded, a collective agreement is signed by all parties and it is sent to the various places to be registered. That is in law, and you start a new period. And that is what fire, well, obviously, it's not the fire who going to stand up to oust this government out of office. So it's probably first, second, I don't know of the division, but fire, welfare, prison, army, Coast Guard, tutors, amalgamated, agriculture, farmers, something, and all those who accepted the 4%. They signed off on that for the period 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They take the losses and they now have the opportunity to go and sit down in front of the CPO for the period 2020, 21, 22 with a Minister of Finance who telling me better days are coming. What do you want? He didn't say, only 5% we have another. Say, we starting 5%. You have to go and make it work for your people. And I hear the ass again and radio say, when they tell me 4% and we went and argue and said get 4%. No, they didn't tell us they don't argue on that more. They say only 4% they could get. That's the difference. It was no negotiations. He was going from the CPO and just sign off because he wasn't going to get more. And they state the case, you mightn't like the state in the case how they do it. But the employer come in with a game. You have to come with your A game too. And if you don't have it and the employer advantage you, you look for that. Members paying you thousands of dollars to sit in with the fence. And then you make the government walk over you because them come to the table with the A game. And you come like some little wimps. Who you go blame for that? We go cry wolf? And we go and let they do it. No, you're getting paid when the man come. We want all them union leaders to tell us what is their salary. Let me start with PSA. Let me stop the alleged. And let me say it's $50,000 a month. I say an alleged. Or you know, for the obvious reason. $50,000 a month. Bring it, let me see. Bring it, let me see. Roger, bring your pay slip. Let me see how much you just get from members' money. Because that is a small group of people paying all you. This country is 1.something million, 1.45 million people that the government is in charge of to see about. Or they only have a small group of 5,000 or 10,000. PSA must be 11,000 or 10,000. And if your salary is $50,000 a month, you're getting too much blasted money. So don't watch the Prime Minister and all the senior, even a permanent secretary in a ministry had to run a ministry and do more work than all the union doing. In fact, PSA doing. PSA don't do nothing. You go to them with a grievance, they can't handle it. They don't have the expertise to handle it. You go to industrial court, they can lose your case because they filed in the wrong place and all kind of stupidness. They don't have nobody again, only hiring one set of lawyers. Long time in PSA, it's not a lawyer going in no industrial court. It's seasoned, experienced industrial relation officers used to go in the industrial court. Not everything they hire a lawyer to do because they don't have the human capacity. They do not have the people who have the know-how. What around them doing? The executive is supposed to be 13 members, they have about 5 of them. And they're running the union properly. Them feel so with the virtual general council people and virtual conference. And the general council, the virtual one, them just happy because they could stay home in the house and while they're cooking, the camera off or whatever, and they will get a slip same time off. They want to come in PSA no more. Sit down and face the executive and ask questions and get documents in hand. They want that again. Just sit down. I tell all they take $3 million to build back PSA San Fernando with burned down and in Tobago. Tobago get 2 board building. Right now they have to leave that to go and rent. Some in Tobago again. And down in South we get a big outdoor latrine. 3 million. Duke take a next 3 million. He say he build a hospital on the first floor of PSA. He never bring a architect plan, town and country plan, nothing. And members sit down and pass that money at 3 million for you to build a hospital on the ground floor PSA. You ever hear shit, so? You can have a hospital and a union where people walking up and down inside. So you can have disease, body fluid and all them things. So a woman pregnant coming in, so and you rushing through the door because you have to go upstairs and meet a grievance officer. 3 million for that. And then the realities come now. And how much millions he taken a loan from, I think, is Royal Bank, I think it is, if I'm mistaken. Where do the money? Yeah? But them want to tell people, hold on again for next year. Basically telling people vote UNC. Because only swing thing is a 500 more vote here and just so you're telling people how to vote. Because when they come in, they say you get 10% for the period they don't go on and they know it's a lie. You're not going to get it. UNC ain't going back in time to pay nobody nothing. When all the other unions don't take it. So all them other unions going to take them to the Privy Council now. So say if they get them 10, you have to give me 10 because the same circumstances that existed then. Why you give me 4? The same circumstances not changing. So how you could give PSA 10% for 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That economic period is recorded in black and white. It's a change. And then back then, all they could have paid based on the economics then is 4%. How you could go and pay 10% now? Then them all them other unions will, so it's courthouses, whole country go be in courthouse. It don't make no sense. I was telling all the liberties fooling members. And I don't know if you feel it talking to only UNC people. If you remember. So the point I'm making all the do not get caught up with them who marching. And I tell all they'll never talk about the 5%. Because the 5% is not a cap. The 5% is a starting point for negotiation, and that is only for the unions who settled 14 to 19 and accepted the 4%. Back then, they tell you, take it or leave it. This rounds is negotiations because Minister Ember said better days are coming. He said that in September. And if you haven't settled the outstanding negotiation, you can't go and sit down now to do no 20, 21, 22 and tell the CPO, well, they see the 4%, add it to this 5 and make it 9. That's not how you do it. So that's why unions have to educate their members so they won't come and read and talk and sound like the dotish. Educate all the members now. Because my union under Mrs. Jennifer Baptiste Primer, she educated all of we who wanted to learn. All of us, we had training programs at the union, 5-day workshop, 2-day workshop, then you go to 5-day and whatever. And if you continue in that way, you apply for the scholarship, 10 weeks at Cipriani, you apply again, successful, 2 years full-time at Cipriani. That is what I do. So when I talk, me I talk because I feel to talk. I talk because I know I talk. Part of my courses, collective bargaining, grievance handling, labor law, labor studies, psychology, economics, communication, research and statistics, maths, and it just goes on and on. So when I'm talking about labor, I'm talking because I feel to talk. Well, I don't know. We have a group, we call and that's how people that's work. You must have a resource group because you don't know everything. So let them tell all you about any. You'll never talk about the 5% offer for 2020 and 2020, 2021 and 2022. They will just harp on the 4% and compare it to what the minister and them getting. And not the minister and them what Dr. Rowley getting. So all the 900 senior public officers, forget them, the permanent secretary, deputy permanent secretary, budget analyst, all them other senior public officers, don't give them no money. Lead them just so. They ain't got no money since 2013. Lead them to run ministries just so, run department just so, on small money. Leave them alone. Because what? Rowley getting money. That was thing days. And for them in Tobago, I understand. The chief secretary current salary is $41,030. The new salary will be $52,159 at 27% increase. The deputy chief secretary, his salary is $25,240. It will now raise to $40,629 at 61% increase. Secretaries, $24,370. The new increase, $38,323, 57 increase. Assistant secretary, their salary is $19,150. It will go up to $34,041 at 78% increase. Presiding officer salary is $20,890. It will go up to $27,088 at 30% increase. Deputy presiding officer, $13,390. The salary will go up to $24,205. 81% increase. Minority leader salary now is $16,540. It will go up to $28,771, a 74% increase. If only realize something, when they hear the big increases, it has nothing to do with, oh God, look how much money, no. Because if you look at the minority leader salary, right now is $16,540. It will go up to $28,771, a 74 increase. When you hear that the chief secretary gets 27% increase, and you hear the minority leader gets 74% increase, you go say, well, how come the minority leader can get more than the chief secretary? See, always see the difference? Because the chief secretary's salary right now is $41,000, going up to $52,000. So that's just a 27 increase between the 41 and the 52. Whereas the minority leader salary is $16,500 and something, going up to $20,774, a 74 increase. Assemblyman, not holding office, the salary is $11,320, and going up to $16,032. 32 cents, 42 increase, and councillors not holding office, the salary is $8,700 right now. It's going up to $10,687. Let us say they don't want it now. So don't let them fool all you. They try it already where they say they will take the money and put it in a fund and they will do this so people and they thief all the money. So all who talking them thing, games. And Dr. Rowley don't say anything, all they talking, they whisper, no, don't want the money. So another thing they're doing is saying what it is the PNN did for the 9 years. Well, I showed you all buildings and all them things. So let me tell you what they did. You all remember COVID-19, right? You all remember the stress we was under, right? You all remember public officers was home for about a year. They didn't have to go to work. Once he was not a essential service, he was home. And every month he getting paid, right? He wasn't working away. He had to wear clothes, he had to pay rent. I mean, you don't have to pay transport, nothing. You're home and collecting your money every month. All remember that? All remember the churches and them, how much millions of dollars they get for 3 months. They don't get it. So they could buy food and provisions for the parishioners. All remember that? The government gave that. This was 2028. Churches get 39 million for poor during COVID lockdown. Government will be giving churches and religious bodies 30 million over the next 3 months to distribute to the poor and the needy. And some salary relief grants may be out by tomorrow, Finance Minister Colin Lambert announced in our parliament. You remember when I was giving salary grants to people who couldn't work because the place of work closed and all that. You remember all that? You remember they were giving rent grants also to people who couldn't pay the rent and the landlord wanted to put them out. Detailing further steps in government provision of measures to assist sectors amidst COVID-19 crisis, Ember said it was acknowledging that containment measures regarding the virus would have more severe economic fallout in some of TNT's major employment creating sectors from tourism and construction to agriculture. We have responded quickly with a broad set of policy measures aimed at providing social protection, assisting the poor and vulnerable, protecting businesses, jobs and incomes, maintaining financial resilience, and sustaining economic activity, Ember said. Grants totaling 10 million per month for 3 months, May, June, and July, will be given to religious bodies in proportion to the size of their congregation for them to distribute food to the poor and needy in accordance with their existing procedures and programs. This will cost 30 million, Ember said. A further 10 million per month for food support will be given to the Ministry of Rural Development for distribution within the 14 municipal regions in Trinidad for the month of May, June, and July at a cost of a further 30 million. The emphasis in food support programs will be placed on fresh produce and traditional processed foods. He also said the ministry is well advanced in arrangement for the payment of salary relief grants to persons registered for national insurance and whose employment had been terminated or suspended without pay as a result of the public health regulation grants. Public health regulation grants are as much as from 1,500 monthly up to 3 months. As of March 24th, some 30,300 applications for salary relief grants were received, comprising of 11,452 hand-delivered application forms, TT post location, and 18,758 applications received online. Early estimates online application given to us, which were based on the assumed bite size of a typical application, proved to be inaccurate, he said. For this, we aren't internet. For those who aren't internet savvy, the statistic now justifies the use of police stations for the physical collection of forms and TT post offices for the drop-off of completed application. Work is being done on the first batch of 1,000 salary relief grants. He added, if all goes according to plan, these grants will be wired to recipients on Tuesday and arrive in their bank account by tomorrow. Thereafter, we expect to be able to increase our capacity to be able to deliver up to 10,000 new grants weekly. Grants are eventually expected to reach as many as 100,000 persons at a cost of $400 million. Already remember them thing? They said this government didn't do nothing. Already remember what happened to me COVID-19, already just frightened. But we home. Now it is known not every single person may have gotten a system because that's how things are. Nothing is perfect. But there were other organizations also helping us. But this government would have invested millions and millions of dollars to keep us safe. Yes, we lost loved ones. You could not be a country during COVID-19 and you lost nobody. Then you really would have a dome in truth. Aliens would have come down and built a dome and rested down there, so you just cut off from the whole world. Nothing can get in, nothing can get out. No virus can fly in, none can fly out. Or remember the whole system, when we opened the borders for our citizens to come back, there was a whole first system where they went, buses take them, carry them to this home, where they had things to eat and food. Somebody tried to play the fool and show a cockroach when the thing is not so. Place nice little pool, this, that, and they stay there first and quarantine there. And then anything, they go to step 2 and then to step 3 and all kind of step this and step that. All that was being paid by the government. We was the only country that had a 2-tier health service, where the ordinary hospital running, but there's one system running for COVID-19 alone. Big America didn't have that. All the patient COVID and the normal people who sick into one another. That when thousands and thousands of people died because one system. This country, Trinidad and Tobago, had 2 systems working simultaneously. And yes, nurses and doctors were overwrought. And we know that they work the tail off. Doctors, nurses, the whole healthcare system, all the police, I know the security system. We know that. We appreciate it. They were frightened. We were frightened, but they went out there. They were patriots. This government did that. You think Kamala Harris and all the thief in between 10 and 15 can do them thing? You know, people may have died more if there wasn't often. You know the chaos we are in this country. We were so well organized, even though we lost our loved ones, that the World Health Organization praised the Trinidad and Tobago for how they approach the system and having this 2-tier system. Only want to know what the government do for this country, boy, in the 9 years, boy. Yeah? Roger are going to march to bring back a woman who, he said thief, all of them thief, but them sick in the brain, boy. Them had jelly, boy. Yeah? What is country doing? What is government doing? Yeah, what is government doing? Four days ago, Venezuelan ship starts exploration of Dragon Field. Venezuela going out do the thing, you know. Venezuelan Vice President and Minister of Petroleum, Delcy Rodriguez, has reported that the vessel Go Electra arrived in Venezuela to carry out exploration of the underwater infrastructure in the Dragon Field. Remember, we sharing that some of we water them out, right? On her Instagram page on Saturday, Rodriguez indicated that these efforts will allow accelerating the production condition of this important project developed jointly with the Republic. What do you think, John Pangon? The Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the Shell Company. Venezuela continues to take firm steps towards making the most of all the potential of its gas belt, she said, or she added. She also uploaded a video of the ship in Venezuela waters. She explained that the parties to the December 2023 Dragon Field gas arrangement between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago are combining the sovereign use of Venezuela's resources with foreign investment of a productive nature to advance this project. Rodriguez considered the gas arrangement signed between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago in 2023 as an extraordinary and historic step. The agreement will serve to promote joint projects in the gas hydrocarbon sector and was signed in the presence of both countries' authorities, she said. She pointed out that Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro said that the agreement is to work on projects like the Dragon Field in Venezuela waters to start producing gas and to go out together to sell it globally. Last week on November 21st, the president of Petróleos de Venezuela, Hector Obregon, said the company plans to export natural gas by 2027. Likewise, the Venezuelan Deputy Minister of Gas, Luis Gonzalez, explained that exploration and certification work is currently being carried out on the reserves of gaseous hydrocarbons not associated with oil. The Venezuelan Vice President update on the Dragon gas project comes days after the outgoing U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, revealed that the U.S. government recognizes Edmundo Gonzalez as the democratically elected president of Venezuela and not Maduro. According to a Guardian media report, last Saturday, Energy Minister Stuart Young and the TNT government has been engaging both the Democratic and Republican parties in the United States in its effort to secure the Trinidad and Tobago Dragon gas deal with Venezuela. Young was speaking at the Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce annual Christmas dinner and awards function at the Passage of Asia restaurant in Chabonas. He said we remain very connected with the government of the United States and try to ensure we secure the future of these projects. Our partner in that project, 70% is Shell, which is the largest LNG trader in the world. So you think we're sitting back and we had about it, oh my, oh God, oh my, what will Trump do, whatever? No. We are there meeting the Democrats and Republicans because things is about negotiations. It's about diplomacy. Wars are fought and stopped with a handshake. Diplomacy. That is everything. That is an art, just like negotiations, They're easy to do, Okay. And this is what we have happening here now. Manatee will be the largest new gas field developed in Trinidad and Tobago in decades. It was fulfilling to go to Tufco Yard in Abre. That is a big new manufacturing thing they build. They will be fabricating the steel to build the wherever for the line, for the gas and all the who in the oil industry will work it out, right? So what went on started, these fabricators, they build a big compound with these, everything to start manufacturing steel or whatever for this Manatee project. So it was fulfilling to go to Tufco Yard in Abre on Tuesday, the 26th of November 2024, for the kickoff of the fabrication of the Manatee jacket ceremony hosted by Shell and McDermott. It was this government vision and ability to negotiate successfully with the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and Shell that secured this unprecedented deal. The Manatee jacket will be the largest ever fabricated by Tufco, providing hundreds of jobs for our citizens. I am grateful for the opportunity and privilege to have negotiated and secured the arrangement for the production of the Manatee field for the Manatee agreement for negotiated and secured the agreements for the production of the Manatee field on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago. This project will supply significant gas for us for decades to come. This is on we land. This has nothing to do with Venezuela. So when the minister say, let me read it again. The minister say, better days are coming, or brighter days are coming. Unions have opportunity not to go and show their skill, not to be marching in the road at over 4% with them, also responsible for we getting, because they didn't do nothing for all them years and negotiating period that passed. And we're talking about 12% was settled between the port and SWWT in a memorandum of agreement. Why all they didn't take it to court? Why all they didn't take it to court? To see if the court will say that this government had to honor that agreement. Why all they didn't take it to court? Now to come to bring up that topic, all this sick boy. And all who follow in order, I empathize with them, boy. Because they're already looking for somebody to march behind Roger. Roger, who said the nastiest thing about Kamala, Abdullah, and he said, a man who charged for rape and make he president of NATO, a man who hung out a next man from his work on sexual harassment allegation. That same man on charges, based on what we see, I see the plate on TNT and they put his face up in the news. So I say what they say. A man who on charges right now in America for sexual abuse or some kind of thing, sir. That you all following, boy? But Titi Pose, I surprised. I surprised. Let me see all who here. I surprised. All the good, yes. Helen, Joelle, Claire, Alicia, Diane, Deborah, Nadia, Bernadine, Rudolph, Leon, Brian, Lynette. Who go just now? The whole thing just flapped. Brian, Lynette, Marian, Annette, Roma, Sandra, Basil, Jonathan, Merle, Estra, Christopher, Kenneth, Cheryl, Larry, Nadia, Gloria, Joy, Sandra, Motu, Munsami, Janet, Monica, Mayhew, Hazel, John, Joycelyn, Helen Russell Has, Pleasant Day, Hadara, Melissa, Mary, Charles, the whole family out in Boner, Emmeline, Anne-Marie, Sarah, Ingrid, Gloria, and Marlon. I will tell all you and tell all you again. Everybody free to support whatever political party they want. That ain't my business. That is it. Right. My thing is talk the truth. People that say, oh, you ain't mentioning what PLM doing it wrong and whatever. Okay, tell me what they're doing and we go see. You see right now, the kind of thing UNC doing and them union and them doing, it pays in comparison to whatever all they feel. Or they feel the PLM doing or not doing. Honest to God. The crime situation, yes, you have a crime situation. Yes. 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 But under Kamala Prasad Bissessar, it was high also. She had a state of emergency just in the East-West corridor where they lock up over 8,000 African youths. But the Indian youths were allowed to come out in the day and do what they want to do across the Caroni Bridge. Because you see, crime has become the face of the black man. The angry black man. When the choke you, and we answer back to suit, we angry. You hear what the lal dancing, what the hell the name is, what he called me, all kind of end this and that and whatever. If the McLeod man they drop some COOLIENEASS, you don't say different. But the McLeod man say he accept the apology. I wasn't accepting nothing. Because you know where I was going. You see, they call me it once whatever because you're vexed, right? You see, when I continue and whatever, I don't want an apology from you because I know what you think about me. What are you apologizing for? That you call me that? Well, then you should not call me that. So that's why I will give you back the suit. And the things I will tell you, without even using obscene, he'll have a problem. Because they love to call me N. But I could tell them where the great-great-great-grandmother come from. And under the conditions they come here. Why they came here, they wouldn't like it. So don't tell me insulting things, I won't insult you. Let us sit at the table and have an honest and frank discussion on race relations. I want it to start, I want to be there. Not to be aggressive because I am a certified mediator, but let us get it out. You just vomit first, and when the vomit come out, and blah, 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 then you sit back now. Because you can't start at the table and everybody hushing and talking. Nothing helping, you have to talk your mind. You see all of that saying whatever you didn't talk your mind, you talking your mind at that table. And when we get out of the way, then we go start a bill. You have sense of that? Don't play no victim for me when they want to tell me all kind of nasty things. You see where Munila do? He insult Camille Robinson Regis. You know some people will say, well, so what? She really have a bald head and truth, and so what? She say wear wig. They will justify it. They will come out and say you're wrong for doing that. But call Kamala old, dirty, stinking drunk. Who does Zami? I just say if you call she that, eh? I didn't say that she does do that. If you were to say again, find something nice to say and say that Kamala is an old, drunken, stinking, Zamian, old, HOE, the garden tool. You know what they will say? What they will say? Oh, she shouldn't say that. How she could do that? But you could stand up and tell Mrs. Camille Robinson Regis, she has his slave master name. I know she was wearing a wig and all they didn't know she had a ball head underneath. It's a good thing to take back the the credit card. So she couldn't buy wigs again, so she had to go bald head because of that. And because she never win no case, nowhere do not, so where she get money from. That is why when the woman went into bank account to take out she own money to see what she has on medical bill, it was all over the papers because they find what she does do to get she money. What Kamala do to get SC? What case Kamala ever settle in this country? She went and get SC that even Raja Israel Khan that she give her back, they don't recognize she because she do nothing. All they don't talk about she, what she do to have all that money? She have a, what case Kamala Prasad says ever try in this country that she have all that money? But no, she can have it, you know, because here was she Here what she gratuity was. And then we hear she thief from the treasury as if she have a right to it. Here what she pension settlement was. She gratuity. Here what it was. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? $2,238,000. She got a gratuity as a PM in 2015 and 2015 still. She come and get $751,968 for MP. On top of that $2,200,000 and something. What she do? What she do for that? Come and meet people in she 90? Drunk all over the place and fall down and ganja statue? That what she do for it? 5-day weekend? Ganja and she windowsill? House at Christian and who buy this thing and party all kinds of neighbors complaining, flying up and down in the helicopter from Friday to Friday. That what she do to get $2,238,000 as gratuity as the Prime Minister in 2015. What she do? Well, they're watching Dr. Rowley who working his ass off. And all they know he working hard. All they know he doing the work, but because he black. Because he's an African man, because he black. Because I'm singing them, that when they call we in the quarters. That's the international say, that when they call we behind the scene, they call we in. So when they sit down between us, not all of them, and not all. I can't say all in there at all. I know what I'm talking about. They say, look at that N. He can't be no leader in this country. And they know he brighter than them. Who does think so? They know he brighter than them, but they don't want no N. So they prefer to have a drunken. I didn't say she drunk, I say. They say prefer to have an individual who may be a drunken, seven-toe, Zamian, dirty, stinking, HOE, corrupt, kleptocratic individual as the head of this country. That have an upstanding, serious man who fighting in the interests of all citizens. That's what they want, because he's too black. People like Kamala Persad and them just give Indian people a bad name because then they just start to watch all of them as if they do it. And we know it's not true. All of them don't think so. And they really try to come out of that thinking. We see it. But Kamala Persad and them that's just because that's what their mind is. Nutty and stink. That Ramula could talk about, oh, we didn't know she have, they take her in the card. We didn't know she bought it on that day and on that way, you know. And what happened, as I say again, let any one of the women and them in UNC shave their head and see if they could look beautiful like Connie Robinson Regis. Do we get them now? Get them now? Trim off all the hair, shave it off. And come and tell me if they could look like a Nubian queen. Like Mrs. Connie Robinson Regis. People, I said enough. Or they get all the information, the facts, if they want to take it and rest it under the brushel tree and under a pot and cover it down. And when 2025 come, do like they were in America, and when not all of them saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, why go say? Just don't meet me and ask me nothing. Just expect me to make no life to talk about nothing. I will talk about dance and drama, union and labor as I used to do. Dominic telling all you, Sean Felix Bruce Wayne, John and John, Darren Marcel, all who was calling on the radio from Tobago, Trinidad. I ain't calling the names, all you know who the names are. Telling all you, bringing the education, bringing the information, and then all they go take that, all they ain't tell nobody about it, or they ain't tell all the children, or their nephew, nobody, just all they alone go and vote. Where's the sense? You take this information, just all they alone go and vote. That ain't doing nothing. When they go and vote, you don't care about 5 people. You don't care about 10 people. That will make the difference. But I just for you to say, oh God, I go and vote, yes, yeah, happy for the vote. But your vote alone and what? You have to bring all the people. You think you want PNM to win this election 2025 and have the UNC like a dirty saw. They can't pass nothing because everything they're harassing. You have to get PNM at 29, at 30, leave UNC with a maxi. Let us sit down and calm themselves and regroup, come again, get a fresh set of people. Look, they pay back the same people. As somebody say USC don't know they're going to lose. They bring back the same people, they come back Saddam again, Paradat, the same people. The only person they put is Dowlat, Dr. Dowlat, and he, to me, both of us flock together. Nothing new, nothing new, nothing new. People have a blessed one. I love you all. See you all on Wednesday. God's when I come in something, press something new. It's only on Friday we just play this song. Monday and Wednesday is a different kind of vibes. I love you all. See you all on Wednesday. God's play. Bye. Oh gosh, should the thing come and block the whole scene here? I have to wait till this whole thing come up. Bye, Roxanne, Joyce, and Alicia, and Marie, Robert. That's all the names I see in front of me. I go on the volume.
Them ONR jump and whine, making a big show. As they had the crowd behind, everywhere they go. So they thought that crowd was both. They say they're gonna cut the throat. Sparrows start to ball, when you hear not a seed at all.